Hey, I'm Brian Van.
I'm Max, man. This has been our fifth try, but we are
Because you keep screwing it up.
We are recapping round 3 at Road America with MotoAmerica in the SuperSport Championship Series.
So, round 3, man. Road America, one of your favorite tracks. A venue we all love going to. We had a ton of family out there.
Yeah.
Nana came out with Jack and Auntie Dom, Uncle RJ, Aurelia, Mom, your girl Lex, Babel, me.
A lot of people.
Bunch of friends showed up. It was good. It's
Legit.
good to have the people.
Yeah, it was fun. I had a ton of fun. The bike was fast all weekend.
It's a pretty big trap speeds.
Yeah, I think I had the fastest trap speed in race 2 by like 2 miles an hour. So I don't know how, I don't know when I got a good draft, but
probably got a nice draft, good tuck, whatever, man. It's all good. It's the longest track on the circuit too, right?
4.048 miles, I guess. Probably like 4.1 with that chicane because they don't count that thing on the
They don't count it?
Nope.
It's a fast track. There's a lot of wide open throttle there, man.
You go like over 170, I think. Well, the trap speed's a little bit farther back than the actual top speed. I don't know if anybody's known that. But yeah, I think you go over 170 like 3 times. So it's pretty legit.
Do you see the GPS speed on your dash?
Yeah, it says like 177.
It's pretty fast, man.
It's fast.
It's pretty fast. Used a ton of fuel too. Like out of all the tracks I've been to so far, I mean, this one we went through some fuel.
Almost ran out in the first session. It was pretty funny.
No, there was a liter left in.
There was a liter left.
There was
but when you get on the brakes and stuff, because you're always getting on the brake, it would slosh
bit,
up into the front. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, even the tank foam wasn't enough to keep it from cavitating a little bit. It's all good in the hood. So, all right, who are we going to thank first? Who helped us get there?
So, of course, I want to thank our Sportbike Checker customers that have been supporting us throughout the past 18 or 19 years of us being open. And Precision Track Days, Two Wheel Dyno Works, of course, my gear sponsorships, all my badass gear that kept me safe in race 2, actually. Shoei helmets, CD boots, so Helmet House USA, RST. And then we have, of course, M4 exhaust, Hot Bodies Racing, Spiegler brake lines, Fang Energy, Detroit Custom Paint. They were there last weekend.
Yeah, Brian and Damien were there.
Made the sick graphics, man. Vortex, best rear sets on the market. Same with the clip-ons. Same with my sprocket and chains. Super legit. Pretty awesome. It's pretty sweet.
Let's start right at the top, dude. Yeah. Right at the top.
Also, Tech Spec tank grips too.
Yes.
Hammered it out.
Custom
tank
grip. FP1. What'd we do?
I don't even know where I finished. That's like the first time that I don't remember where I finished. I think it was like 14th or something. 15th. It was
somewhere
15th.
around then. What was the lap time?
15th. I did like a 2:21.2, I think, like that. Right in that area. I wanted to go faster, but my goal for the weekend was, I think, to do a 2:20, and I exceeded that, which was cool. And then, spirits were high. Q1 came around. My girlfriend came. My mom was there. That was pretty badass.
Yeah, they made it. They actually got to watch.
Yeah. They're there to watch that one. I think I ended up 14th overall in that session at like a 2:19.9. So I was like, shit, man. I'd gotten to the 19.
You met your goal, dude.
Which was cool. And then the next morning, my goal was to do an 18. I got really, really close. I did like a 19.2 or something like that. I had a really good lap going. It was going to be an 18, and then someone on one of the straightaways.
Who did it to you?
Kind of Stefano Mason.
Come on, Stefano.
Come on,
Sitting up on you, man.
Sat up on me a little bit, but that's cool, dude. That's cool, man.
You kind of fucked up a little bit too because you like to build up to it.
I like to build up to it. I struggle with getting to it right away. Like my last lap of the weekend will be my fastest, and I think that's actually how it was. So.
Yeah, fair enough. And that's kind of how you get caught, because you get at the end of that session like that.
People are stopping.
Stefano's, his mindset is he's done. He's probably going to stop and do a practice start, right? So, not going to be riding at the same pace he was the lap previous, and you could probably do yourself some favors by just getting to it a little bit quicker. It would help you avoid that.
Definitely.
That circumstance there at the very end. Saturday was a unique day. Now, we went out to Road America thinking, this is the best weather forecast we've ever seen.
All weekend. And then it came like Thursday night, and that all changed.
It all changed.
It was supposed to rain on Saturday a little bit, like in the beginning of the weekend. It was showing a little bit for like 2 hours. But it ended up being from like 10:30 in the morning or I think 11, I'd say, until, geez, man, 6, 7 p.m. I think
it was
right
late.
around in that area.
We got lucky because we got to do Q2 in the complete dry.
Complete dry.
And you know what I was really impressed with too is you improved your position and your lap time from Q1 to Q2. We had a good strategy, kind of working on Josh Hayes with that. He's coaching you again this year. He's pretty helpful in all things racing. Thanks to Chris Ulrich too and Team Hammer, as always. Our buddy Cole for all the support.
Yep, all them.
With the bike.
Built by Team Hammer is what this bike is. Worked on Brian Van, built by Team Hammer, and it is fast. It's fast.
It is fast. So you improved in Q2, got down to a 19.2.
Yeah, something like right around there.
And then the heavens opened up, and it was just a good, steady rain.
It was just
kind of right after our Q2.
It was moist.
It was cold too.
It was cold. It was like 59 degrees. Race was at 2:10. They gave us, I think, like a 8-minute session, which is like 2 laps at MotoAmerica.
Acclimation.
Yeah, just to get used to the wet, and I felt great. I think I was like 7th in that session. I was feeling pretty legit. Race started. Man, I got a monster fucking start. Excuse my French, but it was monster. I just demolished everybody. You know what I mean? You know.
Well, not everybody, but
not everybody.
You had your way up,
into
8th.
Yeah, I had my way up in 8th, and that's where I was sitting, and I was feeling pretty good. And then red flag came out, unfortunately.
One of the people in the back, he was fine. Was it coming out of the front straightaway?
Coming out of the front straightaway. He was in a straight line, but, you know, with those things, there was so much rain. You know, like, I remember on my first flying lap in that little acclimation session, I was going up the hill, up the front straightaway, and for some reason the pavement must be a little bit uneven, which is fine. And I clicked that thing into 4th, or into 5th gear, and it just goes, wah da 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 da, and I'm, you know, the rear spinning at like 130 miles an hour going up a hill. I've never felt that before. And then it just gripped, and then my front wheel came up into the air, and I'm like, oh shit, like this is cool. And it was doing that every lap in different areas, you know what I mean? So that's one thing.
So he fell down.
Yeah, fell down.
The other rider fell down, and the bike is literally laying in the middle of the track.
Yep, yeah, man.
There were too many bikes on track. They couldn't do anything about it. They had to red flag it.
Yep.
That was a bummer.
That was a bummer. And then race, you know, the restart came out. I was doing pretty good. Finished 11th. Finished 11th place.
Yeah, not the same start. No. You didn't have the same start. I would have said on that first start.
Yeah.
I felt like the way it had stacked up and where you were at, you were going to hold the top 10.
I was going to hold the top 10, which would have been very, very nice. But you know, we're here. I finished 11th. I was happy because
still good, man.
Because I felt pretty good. I felt really good in the start before. In the first start, like everything was clicking pretty well. I felt concentrated, and then that second restart, I think I got a little bit too excited. If I'm being quite honest, I think I was too excited because I was doing too good, and everything. You know, like the beginning of the race felt great, and then like, you know, with a few laps to go, or honestly 4 laps to go. I'm sitting there thinking like nothing's fucking clicking for me. Like I'm almost crashing in certain areas that I wasn't before, you know, in the race prior, and then I'm trying a different line to stay away from a puddle, and I'll get spun up and spat up in a different way, and I'm like, shit. I'm like, let's just bring it home.
Right.
Like going on the back straightaway into Canada Corner, it's pretty cool because you know, you're pinned, you're leaning over and stuff. Even in the rain, you're pinned, but towards the end of the race, you couldn't. Like for me, I came out of that chicane, and I did my upshifts immediately. I went from, from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, because you'd go through that straightaway, and the bike's just sliding all over the place like crazy. And that's one thing that I'm still getting comfortable with. Like, is just hydroplaning, and it's a lot better, honestly, riding a bike in the rain. That big bike, of course, there's more power, so it's easier to crash, but the bike's so stable in a straight line to the point where that
a lot more tire on the ground too.
That little bike, you probably would have flexing everywhere. Yeah. It's folding everywhere, so it's cool.
Yeah, that was solid. Saturday was solid. We get into Sunday. We tried a different shock valving for Sunday morning warm up.
Yep.
We had some pretty decent takeoff tires. You went out on it. You just didn't like it. It was pretty clear right away.
Yeah. Brian Van does not like the word hate, but I dislike it.
He disliked it. So we had to have that revalved. We had that put back where it was. You know, sometimes you don't know until you try. We did that. And then there's a bunch of maintenance that goes into it. Clutches with these 750s. Most people are using a new clutch every weekend. Max is pretty easy on the equipment. I'm able to get 2 weekends out of his clutches, but that requires a lot of maintenance, a lot of measuring the gap, right, for the suitor. And then sometimes you have to pull the clutch apart and measure the stack. we had a bunch of restarts, right, on this particular clutch, so I wanted to make sure it was good, and I'm wrenching on this thing on Sunday, and I made probably about the biggest mistake I've ever made working on his bike. The Suzuki cover has a little inspection cap where you're able to pull that off, and with the suitor, I can measure the gap, right, to see where we're at in terms of the clutch, see if we need to make any adjustments. I removed that inspection cover, and then I went from there and I decided to pull the entire clutch cover. And long story short, I got a little distracted and I made a pretty major mistake when I put that plug back in. I threaded it in by hand and I did not torque it down. Massive failure because there's oil behind it. When he went out for the sighting lap for the first start of race 2, which was in the dry, he gets up to the grid, I'm putting his front tire warmer on, I see oil on his right boot, and immediately I'm like, oh shit. I knew what it was. My brother RJ, and like when something goes really wrong like that, I just stay super chill, right? Every movement, you just want to move slow to go fast and get a good result, mistake-free, which is pretty important at this point. Had my brother run for some tools. Dave Babel, another dude on our team, he went and got some towels and some brake cleaner. I borrowed some tools from the N2 team.
Thank you,
Shiloh. Yeah,
thank you
thanks.
Shiloh.
I was able to get the GB Racing cover protector off. Very clearly saw what I did. I took one of the bolts for that and I kind of wedged it in between the hex and the relief there and was able to tighten it up. Babel got some pliers, one last little tighten on it. There's no ring there, so it's no big deal. Got things cleaned up, put the cover back on, and what I was really proud of you for, too, was as a rider. When you got something going wrong like that, it's so easy to just get all spun up and then have, 800 excuses why you're going to go out there and ride like dog shit. And you asked me, and I said, I don't know yet.
Yeah.
And once I got it apart, I said, we're good.
We had like 4 minutes to go on that time clock. He looks at me. He's like 100%. He's like, you're 100%.
100%.
And 100%, that means 100%. We're good.
We're good. So when I told him that, he was super chill. He's just sitting there doing his thing. We're getting the bike cleaned up. Dave cleans his boot off. My brother shows up with the tools that we didn't end up using that he sprinted all the way down the paddock for.
Yes, he did.
Right? So we get this buttoned all back up, and we're able to make the grid for the start of race 2 in the dry.
Yep.
And boy, there was a lot of drama here.
2 red flags in the span of probably 15 minutes.
Who was the first one?
It was Torrin Collins. He sprayed oil all over.
Oh shit, yeah, that's right. You came in.
I came in, dude. There was oil all over my freaking windshield. My tariffs already blew off for some odd reason because you're going that fast. It'll start fluttering and fly off your shield, which is cool. But yeah, came in. There's oil all over the front of the bike. And then oil all over the windscreen, or all my,
Yeah, that's the second time you've been on track going through a Altus oil slick.
Yeah, sorry, George.
Yeah, Barber.
It's okay.
You went through
we were good.
You were like, Cole, trickle. Pick a line, Cole, go through the smoke.
And I couldn't see. That was the craziest thing. Is when you're in that moment, there's so much smoke you can't see, and I'm just worried. Well, it wasn't like crossing my mind at the time, but the riders behind me, they can't see shit either. I can't see shit, so. Are they smart enough to let off the gas? And thank God they were, and the red flag came out. And then,
Was Torrin's bike smoking at MotoAmerica? I didn't see it on TV.
It was smoking, yeah. After it blew up, 100% it was smoking. But there was no smoke prior. It was just kablamo, and then there was smoke. Came into the pits, clean all our shit off, regrouped, and went out for another race, and I was in a pretty good spot. I was getting ready to make some passes and get by some people and charge my way up to the front. And another red flag happened. Guy named, I think, Alfonso. I think he's all right. He crashed pretty bad going into Canada corner, laying in the middle of the track.
Yeah, one of the top pro guys, right?
The ambulance pulled out right in front of us riders, as we were putting our hand up and stuff like that. But he was good, I think now, at least. And I'm sure he'll be at Brainerd. And then they let us know that, hey, guys.
So there was a delay because they rolled medical and stuff. He got back right away when we got back, and we had our bikes up on the stands. We're waiting for start number 3 for race 2. And then Dave keeps the radio in, keeps an earpiece in, and he's like, we've just been told that we're bumped, right? So they bumped us all the way to the end of the day.
Yep.
We ended up being the last race of
Yep.
the day, which really changed plans for
Yep.
everybody on our team because Mom and Lex were rolling.
They were rolling.
Uncle RJ and Aunt Dom
They had to go
and
too.
Nana were rolling.
But a lot of people, they're like, it's all because Superbike TV time. You know what? I just think those MotoAmerica officials thought the Supersport guys needed to take a damn chill pill.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, after 2 red flags right out of the gate,
They're
maybe
like,
it wasn't a bad idea.
These guys need a breather. And the race went well. Started up, race was at 4:30. Start wasn't as good, if I'm going to be quite honest, but I mean, it was good enough. And made my way past some people, and I was in a battle with Kayla, which was really, really cool. I haven't battled with Kayla since Junior Cup in 2022. And, having those moments where I'm drafting her, she's drafting me, she's stuffing me on the brakes, and I'll pass her back. It was cool to kind of have that experience with Kayla. If you're watching this, thanks for having some fun with me. And, I made my way by her. Started, gapping her, and I saw Jake Lewis in front of me. I was in 11th at the time. I had no clue where I was at, what position. I couldn't see my pit board because I wasn't really thinking about it. But it came to the last lap, and Jake Lewis was probably a second and a half in front of me. I'm like, I don't care what happens. I said, I'm either going to crash or I'm going to beat Jake Lewis. And even Jake told me a couple days later, he was like, I was worried that you were going to draft me to the line, and I probably would have, if I'm being quite honest. But exiting the carousel, going into that chicane, someone lost a front fender, and it was right in the race line. And to be honest, I guess I just wasn't looking far enough ahead, and lo and behold, I hit it, and there was no on the front end. It was just a woof. And then I crashed, which was fine. I was pretty pissed off with myself, but I'm not going to scream in my helmet. And
How fast did you have the bike up?
Immediately, these guns right here. See that? These guns and these big old quads had no problem picking that.
He only lost. So we're sitting there. I'm just waiting for him now to come around. Knew he was going to get a reasonable finish. And truth be told, this is the best race weekend we've had all year. Yeah. No question. We'll get back to that. Dave's like, I'm watching the sector times. I saw in sector 3 you didn't get a time when you should have got a time because you were right with Jake, and I saw Jake pop and you didn't pop. I'm like, fuck. And then Bavel's like, dude, 48 down. So now they'll always make a second call too. Rider's up, rider's good. And they didn't. And so Dave and I are just sitting there like waiting to hear something, right? Waiting to see if Max is okay or not. And then my brother hits me. He's like, dude, look at timing and scoring. Finished in 16th.
Yeah. I was outside of the points, but who cares, man? I snatched that bad boy up and
got back to it.
Yeah, my suit, helmet, everything protected me. We were good.
Yeah, it worked great. We gave the suit to Sage Tailoring. He's already asked for a couple logos. He can have that thing looking.
Awesome.
It doesn't need any structural repair.
No, but of course, it's a little
he wants to
up.
look good. So
I want to look
have
pretty.
Sage
I want to
paint
look
it
pretty,
up. This was a great weekend. We accomplished a lot. Our goal going here was for him to get racy with people that are as good or better than him and make some passes. Yeah. When he was at Barber, he was really fucking tentative, and he just didn't do that. And when you came off track in race 2, you're pretty pissed at yourself.
I was pretty pissed at myself. Yeah, at Barber, I was pretty pissed. Honestly, didn't know if I even want to do this stuff anymore. I was like that.
Well, that's a knee-jerk kind of.
It is. But I kind of realized, you
got to sack the fuck up.
Got to sack up. I've honestly been a little nervous and tentative to pass somebody since Kayla and I went down in 2022. At Laguna Seca.
Yeah, when you guys got hooked up together.
Yep, and then it was cool to see at MotoAmerica, her and I were banging bars and passing each other. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this is the person I went down with at 110 miles an hour, and all my feelings just kind of left. I'm like, it's actually a ton of fucking fun. I was smiling on my helmet.
Well, what's nice about racing with her too is, you're racing with somebody. I mean, she's probably got 10 times the experience you do.
Yeah.
And she's really good. She's
really
smart.
Everything she does is super smooth.
And you can 100% trust her, and I feel like she feels really comfortable racing with you too, because you guys have done that a number of times. And yeah, you had a bad outcome once, and unfortunately that happens.
That's how it goes.
And it was great to see you do that, and I feel like you really made a move forward now. This class is so difficult that you don't know how competitive you will or won't be when you went into it this year.
Yeah.
Especially with the addition of all the Superbike riders that came into it. I mean, it's a world-class class, for lack of better words right now.
And a lot of people aren't understanding that. A lot of people are saying this, how it's it hasn't been this way since the 90s. You know what I mean? Like,
the racing is amazing.
so many fast dudes, and a lot of people are looking at me. They're like, Max, your best finish is 11th place, but this shit's really hard. Like, again, I was expecting to come into this year and be a top 10 rider, no problem. And it's not, even, Blake Davis, he's gotten on the podium this year. He finished 7th last week, and this stuff's hard, man.
And Blake's amazing.
Blake is amazing.
This is Blake's job.
This is Blake's job, and Blake is pretty badass.
Blake's really good. There's no doubt about it. And they got him on a, speaking of Blake, I talked to Mike a bunch this weekend and got to check out Blake's bike a little bit. And dude, I gotta say, hats off to Bobblehead Moto, right? To Emerson and Shiloh and Mike and whoever else is working on that bike. That thing is so well put together, so tidy. Like, I mean, it looks like you're looking at a super bike, the way they have that.
It shoots flames at you, dude. When it backshifts, shoots flames at you. It's fucking cool, man. It is cool.
I mean, that's cool, but yeah, I'm talking about like mechanically, the way this thing is put together. Anyone who works on their own stuff, right? Our bikes are really nice. Team Hammer did a great job building them. I do a good job. Mine was this Clutch Clubber fiasco, which I sorted out, so I'll get out of jail free, of taking care of it. If you appreciate that kind of stuff and you look at their bike, it's pretty damn sexy, man. It was really cool to do that, and that's part of the experience of being there.
Exactly.
So, back to it, you're a part-time rider, a full-time employee.
Full-time employee. I can't work on a bike, but I know what parts you need for your motorcycle.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And now, you're racing, like even in the wet, on that first red flag, at that point, you were still in front of Blake.
Yeah.
How long was that going to last?
I don't know.
I'd love to think it would have lasted all the way to the race.
Yeah.
But Blake is not going to give that up easy, right? Odds are he's probably going to get you, and you're going to have to fight back.
He is probably going to get me, and I was have to fight back. But it was fun. It was cold. It was like 58 degrees. Like, I remember after the race, I immediately got undressed. I'm shivering. I ran through the paddock in my socks and underwear, with no shirt, no pants on.
That's retarded.
To get in my girlfriend's car, turn on the heated seat, and I go back to the hotel to take a shower.
In your underwear?
In my underwear and socks, yeah.
Okay.
And
all right.
I
don't know that we need to tell everyone that.
But, I hope you guys are just thinking about what that looked like in the moment. So
like stupid.
It probably looks stupid.
People are like, there's an idiot running across the parking lot.
Who is this hooligan? Who is this child?
In his ridiculous underwear.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's good to see now, you got racy with good riders.
Yes.
Right? The finish, sure, would have been super nice, in a perfect world to draft and pass Jake and get a 10 or at least try. A little debris got in the way. Maybe you made a mistake by not seeing it. That didn't happen. But ultimately, when you really look at the grand scheme of things, 16 to 11 or 10, there's no difference. You did everything that we asked. You went out there and you rode hard. You made good passes, right? You showed real progress. And it's probably the most fun I've had at a racetrack in longer than I can remember.
Agreed.
This is more fun than watching you win on a junior cup bike.
Yeah.
Because this is so hard. Like when we got done, we sent everyone away. My buddy Dave stayed in Wisconsin with us. He sells financing for RVs and stuff.
Yep.
Right, works for a bank, so he was going to hit some dealers there. So he was staying. Max and I and Dave, we got the trailer all packed up, and we're in a pretty good mood after this, man. And we decided to go to this place in Grafton and get a couple rooms at the Hampton and eat at the brewery next door. And then that culminated with me and Dave hanging out in the race trailer, emptying all the White Claws.
I was in bed by like 11 o'clock, and I was asleep.
Yeah, it was just a great weekend. We enjoyed all of our time. What?
Brian Van.
Dude, you're running across the parking lot in your underwear, and you want to judge your dad for drinking some White Claws with his boy Dave?
That shit's cool, man. That shit's cool.
I'm not sure where, but okay.
I don't know, in my mind. I got a lot of weird shit going up there, but it's awesome.
Well, to ride a motorcycle as fast as you do, you probably have to have a lot of strange thoughts. So, with that said, where are we heading next, buddy?
Going to Brainerd International Speedway or Raceway, something like that. I'm pretty sure it's Raceway in Brainerd, Minnesota.
BIR.
Here in 2 weeks. It's going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be fast. The Minnesota fans are absolutely
they're amazing. I love that track.
They're crazy.
Yeah, I love that track. I love the people there.
Yeah.
It's a great time. This one's going to be me, you, RJ, and Dave.
Yeah, it's going to be a boys' trip.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Then after that, we come home and
go to the ridge.
I'm home for just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I got to drive out from here to the Ridge with Mom. You're going to fly out with Lex and our other daughter, Sophia, and do a little racing out there, man. We've got a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
But I'm going into the next one 100% more excited than I went into Road America. After Barber, we had fun.
Yeah.
But it felt like there was a little bit of air let out of the basketball. Like you're dribbling this thing and like you really got to hit it hard to get it to come back.
Yep.
And your attitude, dude, was so good the entire weekend at Road America that you very quickly forgot we came off of a not that fun, right, kind of challenging Barber. And you started off immediately good attitude. You went out there and...
That might have just ruined the video, but it's awesome. And if we're still going to proceed with this...
fucking trailer.
I appreciate you guys, and all of our SportbikeTrackGear.com customers are badass.
We're just going to leave that in the video.
We're gonna leave that in the video.
So what that was is I have these alarms put on my trailers, and they're pretty sensitive. Like when it starts to rain really hard and blow the trailer around, it'll trigger the thing, and I get a phone call and a text. And yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's hailing outside, so I'm going to go...
It's not hail, dude.
Then it's rain. I'm going to take my shirt and shorts off and shoes. And
No, you're not. No, you're not, dude. That's a one-off thing. That's a Road America thing.
All right.
You're not doing that today, dude. Not at a place of business. It's embarrassing.
All right.
All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a
guys.
couple weeks.